everyone, it's Karen. It is Friday. I just got home from work. I just did Dragon's Breath because I felt like that seemed like a good way to get ready for this video. But I have two packages that I wanted to open, and basically it's perfect timing because it's the weekend. I have a lot going on this weekend, so I won't have as much time as I want to read, but still it's fun to get packages on the weekend. So the first is from Paperback Book Swap. I don't know if you guys have heard about them. They are just a really nice place to get kind of backlist books. Basically what happens is you have books that you don't want anymore and you list them on this website, and then if other people want them, you bring them to the post office and you ship it to them. You are responsible to pay for the shipping costs. However, then you also have a wish list up of books that you are interested in. And when one of those books becomes available from your wish list, then you can say if you want it or not. And then if your wish list item is accepted by the person who's offering it, they will mail it to you. And at that time, they are responsible for paying the shipping to your house. So it's really just a nice way of like sharing books with other people, instead of getting rid of them, and just like kind of paying it forward, because like you have to pay, like I said, for the ones that you're sending out, but then you don't have to for the ones that are coming to you. So they're often kind of packaged in unique ways. This one looks like someone just did paper on top of a plastic bag, but you know, you do you. So I have two coming. Let's see what this one is. And like I said, I have two coming. It's not very often that I find one on my wish list that somebody is actually offering up, just because, you know, the ones I want tend to be kind of newer books, and these are ones that people have already read, loved, and are sick of. So let's see what book it is. Oh my gosh, this is really, really wrapped up in an American Proud bag. All right, that's great. Ooh, I'm so excited. This is perfect. This is called The Winter Sea by Susanna Kearsley. Yep. And it's much thicker than I thought it would be. I don't know what this book is about. I don't really care to read the back of it, just because sometimes I give way too much away and I want to be surprised. However, there was another book of hers that was recommended to me by Sarah from Your True Shelf. I think it was called like Mariana or something like that. I will put the little clip of it. It was so good. So good. And it made me want to read the rest of her books. So this is one that I was interested in reading when I did do a bit more research. I've heard it's not as good. I'm still interested in reading it. I think there's another book that comes after this. Like, I don't know if it's a series, but I think there's at least two books that are connected to each other. So that's that. And then my page one book subscription box is here. So I have been trying to narrow down which book subscription boxes I'm going to have going forward, because I can only read so many books each month and it's a lot of money. However, basically I was kind of thinking about canceling page one going forward. I think I paid for a year ahead of time. But then I decided maybe I should just be more specific with my requests with them. And so for this one, I decided that basically I realized I don't really read fantasy ever, rarely. And so I decided like, hey, can you send me a fantasy book that would be good for beginners? So we'll see what they sent me. Hopefully, like I've been waiting so long for this one. And I think it's because it wasn't just they were randomly picking a book for me, but I gave them specific instructions. So, all right. Ooh, this is really nice. So it always comes with a few little gifts. And this is super nice, just a TBR list. I think this would be so handy to have while watching YouTube videos. I wish it was magnetic, but you can easily add a magnet to the back and put it on the fridge or something. So there's that. There's the bookmark that always comes with it. This one says, "A room without books is like a body without a soul." And their little promise with some more quotes, just their promise saying like, hey, if you don't like it, if you already own it, you can send it back. And then what we have all been waiting for, or at least what I have been waiting for. Gosh, I'm so excited. And then I have to run to the library after this because there's a comic book event tonight that I'm going to. And I should probably leave stats. Okay, it's paperback. Oh, okay, I feel like this was a good choice. I feel like I might already own it because last year I bought way too many books and then I ended up wrapping some of them up to use as prizes for myself because I bought too many. But I really want to read this one. The House by the Cerulean Sea. In the Cerulean Sea. Cerulean? Oh, that's not a G. Oh, this video needs some editing. I think it's a C. Cerulean. That would make more sense as well, since that's a color. Anyway, I have been wanting to read this for a very long time, and I think that this might be a very good fantasy for beginners. Now, for me, I don't know that I would consider this fantasy. I think it's more like, I mean, there are magical elements. I feel like it's kind of Harry Potter-ish in, like, I don't know what you would call it, like light fantasy, like not high fantasy. I know high fantasy, but what's like the word for if it's not super intense fantasy, where it's like somewhat realistic-ish. Anyway, I'm excited to read this. That is summary. I need to figure out if I own it or not already, but good choice. Page 1, good choice. All right, that is it. I'm gonna run or drive really quickly to the comic book presentation at my library, and I'll see you guys later. I hope you have a great weekend. Bye.
Year. There was a professor in the English department whose name is Russ Nye, who went sort of off the edge and started teaching.
All right, so that was super interesting. Basically, this old guy who was so amazing. Like, I just love listening to old guys talk, or old women. I just feel like they're so wise, and they have just this whole like lifetime filled with all their passions that they can talk about and really discuss with you. And this guy was into comic books from the time he was a little boy until now. I don't know how old he is. He said he was going to retire in 2 years, but let me tell you, he's been working a while. And yeah, he is the librarian for the comics collection at MSU, Michigan State University. And apparently they are the largest public, what did he say? They're the largest, so Michigan State University has the largest collection of comics that can be viewed by the public. And I believe it's in the world. Like, they definitely have the largest collection in the United States that can be viewed by the public, but I believe they have the largest collection in the entire world that can be viewed by the public. Regardless, there's a book one of my former professors wrote that is only there, like in the entire state, it's only there. So I either need to buy it or I need to make a Saturday adventure to go to MSU library, which I actually think would be really fun. So I'm gonna have to find a time that I'm free because MSU is probably only hour and a half from where I live. It's not very far. Maybe it's less than that. I think it's like 45 minutes from where I used to live, but now I live in a different place. But regardless, it's close, is what I'm trying to say. So that was really cool and made me definitely more interested in comics, and I want to kind of learn how to read them and like try and more study them, I guess, as opposed to just reading randomly. But as for what I'm going to read this weekend, I'm reading Columbine. I'm not very far in, but it was so good. Like, it's leading me down a rabbit hole. Literally, like every, like, I don't even know, like every page, there's something that makes me want to Google. And because I think I was in 7th grade when this happened, I know what happened, but I don't know all the details. We did for one of our school shooter trainings that I've had to do. As an educator, we have had to listen over and over and over to the 911 calls, and we've looked at a floor map, and we did all this stuff like analyzing, like as educators, how could we have handled the situation better so that we would keep students safe. And obviously that's not really fair to do, because this was like the first like really, really bad shooting. And it's easy to look back and think about what people should have done. But anyway, Alice training is where you either basically lock down, which kills the most people, but there are times when it's appropriate to lock down, or you counter and fight back against the gun person, or you can flee, which basically in the Alice training, they talked about how much time the people in the library had to leave, and they didn't. Instead, they hid under tables, which made them really easy targets. Anyway, but like I was saying, I went off on a tangent. Because I was so young, I know the main idea, but I don't know all the details. And this book is just really showing me the difference between the two boys, and how one to me seems like pure evil and the other one just seemed to have made the wrong sort of friends, not gotten the right mental health help, and yeah, bad situation. But yeah, anyway, the book is really interesting. So that is what I'll be reading this weekend. I hope you guys all have an amazing, amazing weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.